So we're getting to revision 8 now with algebra, and we're just going to finish off that set of questions, which is expanding, factorising and simplifying, before going on to solving linear equations. So here, now, common question, I don't know, reckon a level 3, maybe a 4. Okay, multiplication arms, times them together, times that together, and that together. Notice again, I just do that before I even try to look at the question. And now let's look at it. Okay, so I've got 5y, because 5 times y is 5y. 5 lots of 3 is 15, and the sign is plus. Then I've got 2 lots of y, so it's 2y, and it's plus plus. And then I've got 2 lots of 7 is 14, and it's plus times a plus is a plus. So now I've got that. Let's tidy that up. Common like terms. I've got my y's here, and I've got my what we call constants there. So now I'll simply just say 5y plus 2y is 7y, and then 15 plus 14 is plus 29. And in this question here, it says find an expression for the perimeter. Notice on here, I'm missing that length and that length. Okay, but there's two ways to look at that. One way, which I feel more inclined to do, is say, well, look, I've got that length and that length. Those two equal that. So on this side, I've got the same as that one. And of course, along the top, so that one and that one is the same as that length, isn't it? So those two lengths equal that, those two lengths equal that. So essentially, I've got 2 lots of those and 2 lots of those. So that's how I would solve a question like this. So let's just make it so you can see. So I'm going to have 2 lots of these ones. So I've got 2 lots of this, plus I've got 2 lots of this one here. And that's how I'd solve it, just like I would do this one, I do down here with this one. So let's go through. Multiplication arms, do this before I even try and do anything else. Tells the examiner I know what I'm doing as well. So 2 lots of 3 is 6, that's 6x, 2 5s are 10, and it's a plus. 2 4x's, 2 lots of 4 is 8, so it's 8x, and it's a plus. 2 lots of 1 is 2, and it's a plus. Collect the common like terms. Just get into the habit of knowing this language soon. Those ones, and what we call the constants. 6 and 8 is 14, so that's 14x plus 12. And that's how you do those ones. So now let's move on to solving linear equations. So solving linear equations, I like this a lot. I think you can get this done nicely if you follow this way. Okay, because I'm going to show you the same pattern all the time. So I want W on its own. You can also do this when they say rearrange in terms of. It's the same concept. So you draw 2 parallel lines like that. And now I'm going to do undo. So I've got to get rid of what's connecting to W. And the easiest thing is taking away rather than timesing. That's the easiest thing to do. So the opposite of taking away is add 1 to both sides. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. That means that you add 1 there and there. So that cancels out. So I'm left with 2W equals 14. And then simply say to yourself, what do I double to make 14? You know the answer is 7. How would I prove that? Well, it's timesing by 2. So I do the opposite. Divide both sides by 2. Divide that by 2. Divide that by 2. And as you say, W equals 7. Now, the next question, same idea, C over 2 plus 3 equals 10. So all I do, same idea, put 2 parallel lines down, like this, and say, right, I've got 2 things attaching itself to C, a divide by 2 and an add 3. Adding is easier to get rid of than dividing, so I'm going to get rid of the adding first. So the opposite of adding is taking away. So I take away 3 from both sides. So if I take away 3 from both sides, this cancels out, and I get c over 2 equals 10 take away 3 is 7. What do I halve to make 7? What do I halve to make 7? Hopefully you can see what the answer is. But if I didn't, I'd say, right, okay, at the moment it's divided by 2. So the opposite of dividing by 2 is timesing by 2. So I times that by 2, and I times that by 2. That cancels that out, so c equals 14, and I hope you guessed that. The next two, a bit more tricky, but that's okay. We follow the same idea. Here we have 3, now it's in bracket, y plus 4 equals 24. So again, the same thing. I'm going to draw 2 parallel lines. And I've got brackets, adding, and timesing. But this timesing is the timesing of the brackets. So essentially I've got 2 things really. To get rid of this, there are 2 ways I can do it. I can either expand the bracket and then solve it. But if I notice that this is 3 lots of something is 24. 3 times something is 24. 3 times something, 24. So effectively, I need to divide both sides by 3 to tell me what that something must equal. And as you guessed, it's 8. Now, something I add to 4 to make 8. Something I add to 4 to make 8, well, obviously if I take 4 from both sides, that's a slow way, but safe way. So I know that y equals 4. Now let's look at the last one and see what we've got here. This looks more complicated. So it says 5 bracket 3c take away 2 close bracket minus 7c equals 40 minus 2c. Now that pen is dying, I need to get a replacement. Wow, the first thing I want to do is just tidy everything up. Before I can start doing the brackets, I need to tidy things up. And it might be a useful case of multiplying out the bracket and then see what happens. So multiplication brackets, boom, boom. So that's 15c, 5 2's are 10, and there's a minus. And then it's minus 7c equals 40 minus 2c. So the first thing I'm doing is sorting things out. So let's carry on sorting. I've got 15c, take away 7c is 8c, minus 10 equals 40 minus 2c. So I'm ready now with the parallel lines. I've kind of tidied things up enough. So let's do that and see what happens. So I want to get c on its own. There are more c's here, so I want to bring that c over here. I want to bring it over. So I need to get rid of the minus 2c, so I add 2c to both sides. Okay, if I add 2c's to 8c, that becomes 10c. Now, I want to get rid of the minus 10. Something minus 10 is 40, so I want to get rid of the minus 10 by adding 10. Remember the opposite operation each time. So now I've got 10c equals 50. What do I times by 10 to make 50? Hopefully you know what it is, but let's see otherwise. 10 times, so divide by 10 on both sides. And then I eventually get c equals 5. And that's how you do those questions.